Hi, Kim. We'll get started in a few minutes.
Oh, good.
Trying something fancy. Let's see if I can not mess it up here.
Thought I was late coming in. Pretty cool. Do you scuba dive, Randy?
Sorry?
Do you scuba dive by chance?
I didn't. I can't hear that with the music going. Sorry.
Do you scuba dive by
Oh,
chance?
I do scuba dive. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of awesome. And we are live on Facebook, but we're just giving people hopefully a view at coming in a few minutes. So
Okay.
my first try at it. I know it does remind me of scuba, just making me kind of want to get out.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I know, I dig it. And it gives everybody a warning that we're coming on soon.
I like it. And that's the time frame that's left?
Yep.
Good. Like it.
Thank you. We're getting fancy in our experience here.
Are. We have to.
And the Facebook Live's about 15 or 20 seconds behind what's really going on. So the people watching right now, the timer on the screen, we're probably about 20 seconds above them. Hey, everybody, how we doing?
The heck was that?
Right? How cool is Randy Byrd right now?
Happy Good Friday.
You know, we're always doing something a little fresh, right? A little fresh. Good to see everybody today. Elizabeth, Mike, Tom Daves. Thank you, Mike, for allowing me to wear my hat today. I had it sitting there and I'm like, you know what? If Mike wears one, I'm going to wear one.
I refuse to shower. It's Friday.
I love it. I love it. Tom's got his mask on. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's good morning on the Pacific Coast. We've got 11 o'clock. And, I'm excited to get on the call today. We're already live, obviously, on Facebook. For everybody joining us, thanks for the new countdown timer, just to give you a little heads up that we're coming on board and, we're getting ready to rock and roll. So we've got a good handful of our rock stars on the call already. So we're going to get started. And if a couple others join us as we are live, then that's even better. But good morning, everybody. How are you doing?
Amazing.
Good.
Amazing.
Good.
I love your library, Mike. You're very cutting edge. I know you're a learner. So
Dude, watch this. Watch. This is what it's come to. Watch. Choose virtual background.
watch what you choose. Watch what you choose.
Hey, I'm in my closet. I have a house full of people. I had to hide out in my closet.
I love it. I love it. I know Brent's guy, Rob, this morning was telling me, yeah, I'm filming all my stuff in the closet right now so I can have quiet. And I'm like, I love it.
It's quiet and it's insulated.
Yep. Perfect.
Ooh.
Well, I love it. Now you're in the spaceship. So listen, everybody, I'm really glad to be here. I'm going to start with the wonderful Elizabeth first this morning because we totally forgot her last week. I had so many panelists that she was off the edge of the screen and I didn't see her and I feel bad. But Elizabeth, let's start with you and let me know what's going on in New York. I know we're starting to hear some positive news, but what's going on right on the ground and how are you personally and your family?
Oh, so we're doing great. We're still in total lockdown mode, no showings. A minimal amount of property is coming on the market, very little. We still have closings going on, but because of the cycle that we have in New York City, because of co-ops, properties that are closing now went into contract probably in January. We run like 75 to 90 days from contract to closing. So we're really not going to know what's going on, what happened in New York until May or early June in terms of real numbers.
Gotcha. So your normal escrow timeframe period is about 75 to 90, you said?
Yes, because we have the majority of our residential resales are co-ops.
Gotcha.
And the co-op process is difficult and timely. It's actually one of the reasons why it's so important to have an experienced real estate agent representing you, because if the board application is done incorrectly, it can drag on for months or it can result in a board turn down.
Right, absolutely. So what are you seeing in the market? Are there still closings and do you know some of those numbers in your area?
So I don't have specific numbers, but I know the closings are still taking place.
Gotcha.
Deals are still being made. I even have one customer who is actively looking at properties and is intending to buy something that she hasn't actually seen, just because she feels this is a good time to buy in New York City. There's not a lot of competition.
Right.
And, she feels there might be an opportunity, because we do know once this market opens up, there will be so much pent up demand because nobody can get into a property.
That's so true. And we're starting to hear that around really the nation. There's some white hot markets. Northern California's got 3 or 4 markets that I'm associated with. They're all white hot still. And even with all the restrictions and stuff. What was the temperature of the market just prior to this? Was it a very hot market in New York?
Yes. So we had a very good first quarter. It died down at the end,
right.
But even so, it was definitely up from fourth quarter of 2019. It was looking very good before this all happened.
I gotcha. And a lot of companies in the news this week about, real estate companies laying off and closing and different things. Anything new going on in your neck of the woods that's newsworthy or worth talking about?
So a lot of companies have furloughed people, staffs and such. We're assuming, from what we understand, that once things turn around, they'll be coming back. It seems unlikely that most of these people will be able to get another similar type of job because they, these companies are all closed. I mean, we can't even access the office.
Oh, gotcha. Well, again, our hearts are with you. I know it's a tough time for a lot of us. You guys are still in the epicenter of it all, and we're starting to see some tapering, at least some of the reports that we're seeing. We're starting to see some stabilization, less people going to the hospital. So again, blessing with you and just wishing you well, and thanks for being part of this.
Oh, thank you. Everything here actually is great, aside from the fact that you can't go outside.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Well, I'm glad you're keeping your spirits up. Well, let's go around the horn. Anybody want to jump in and let me know what's going on in your market and kind of what's happening? Tom Daves.
Hey, here we go. Yeah. Well, we did have an order as of 12 o'clock midnight last night in the Sacramento County. No showings of homes that are occupied. So it's
that's a brand new order.
Brand new ordinance as of last night, midnight. So we cannot show any occupied properties at all. They must be vacant, which, of course, obviously they're limiting, of course, they want us to have videos, photos, drones. Of course, there's all of those views, but it's still extremely difficult to have anyone buy a house without actually seeing it. So we do have 15% of our current market is vacant. So obviously,
those are the popular ones. I take
properties are at a premium. So it's just going to be kind of interesting how this plays out. I have spoken with, of course, all of my sellers, and a handful of them are moving out to either with family members or getting an apartment so their home can be vacant, so we can still show it and sell it. So it's kind of interesting times here.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly where my brain went, is like, okay, now they can move out. The house is staged effectively, right?
And it's safe, right?
And it's safe. And all of a sudden there's an advantage to getting out of that house, and there's advantages to us as realtors for ease of showing and everything else. So it's interesting how the market's literally changing minute by minute, day by day.
Yeah, absolutely. But in our county, in our region, we still have had, in the last week, we've still had over 300 new pending escrows up until today. So I'm sure that will come down just a little bit. But, buyers are still out there, and sellers still want to list their homes. So we are still seeing movement. So that's good.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tom. I appreciate that update. Anybody want to go next? Mike, Kim?
Go ahead, Kim.
Okay, go ahead, Kim.
What I'm seeing in North Florida, rentals are hot as ever, I can tell you. And it's just because I mentioned the other day, our market is such that some sellers don't have to sell right now, and they're putting it into the rental pool. And I mean, I'm getting as many calls for rental showings as I am for listings that are for sale. And they're high-end executive rentals. So, again, we have people paying $3,500 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, whatever. And 3 people just this week have closed on their homes, and they're all looking for rentals. None of them are buying right now. They're waiting. They're going to hold off on the market. And the other segment that I'm seeing a lot in, and I mentioned this the other day, the commercial market has just bottomed out. I mean, it's amazing. The commercial is
like dead,
not doing well.
Interesting.
So it's already, the numbers are coming down big time. And I have a couple of friends that are commercial brokers also. And, while the real estate market, the residential is staying pretty stable, the commercial is just, it's not doing well.
Wow,
so,
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you for the update. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Mike from the closet.
I love it. So I'll give my weekly 2 cents. I found out in the last 3 weeks we've had more new listings than the 3 weeks before that. We've had more pendings than the 3 weeks before that, which was good. So we're doing okay numbers wise. We're on, pretty much shut down. My rental company, California Leasing Property Management, we have 600 doors. We got about 20 to 25 showings a day, which is above average. So the rental market's very hot. Like Kim said, our commercial is, I've seen a lot of price reductions, a lot of people moving out. And interesting enough, a lot of the brokers in town are calling me and saying, how do you work virtually? And a lot of the people are going to be shutting down their offices. So
Wow.
interesting, or trying to consolidate or, move down, which is pretty cool. We knew that was going to happen. For the most part, I've just been, community service. I added you to one of my new Facebook threads, Randy. I know I put you in there, and I've created probably about 12 or 13 new message threads for all the funny memes or help or local businesses, things like that. We had the groups, but the groups are so overwhelming. So I have my close sphere of influence, my close past clients, my close friends are all in different message threads.
Gotcha.
And they're actually more active than the groups right now. And people are loving it. And it's so fun because you can share them in between, intermingle them and all that stuff. And it's really working out to keep people's head straight. We really got hit close to home this week. Probably five or six people that I know tested positive. They're all in recovery. They're all doing good. All my neighbors are doctors at the local hospitals and urgent cares and everything. They said everything's cool. They're just sending people home. They're treating them, sending them home to quarantine. Everything sucks because we can't go to the bars and restaurants and the beaches and camping, but things are still moving around, and I'm learning a lot of new software, and I'm sharing a lot of new ideas with my clients. And, we're going over all the new forms for Corona with the rental companies, and, people are reaching out on my Facebook. If you guys see that post I did yesterday, said, here's all the new forms. Lots of people are calling me for them and messaging me, and agents are calling. So we're just creating a lot of activity to keep our head straight. And this week's been amazing. Like I'm exhausted, don't get me wrong, but it's fun. Like I've never had so much opportunity to engage and really increase my relationships and the depth of them. So
yeah,
we're cruising, man. Like I'm an agent, but I'm also a therapist. I'm also a coach. We're having fun over here. Like
I know. And this is the longest 5-day week of my career without a question, man. All week I was like, what day is it? Tuesday? It's just been that way all week. But thanks for sharing, brother. I really appreciate it. And I'm blessed to be in a couple of those threads with you. It really does keep us connected. And, every time I get one of those texts or meme or something, it just reminds me of the people sending it. So it does have a lot of impact. So I appreciate it.
Super fun.
Carrie, welcome to the call. We're kind of going around the horn, kind of what's going on in your area, what's new. We started with Elizabeth today. You just came on, but I did make penance to Liz and say, I'm sorry I forgot you last week publicly.
Oh, good. So I heard that you guys were talking about, at least Mike was, about charity and the impact. And one of the things that was cool, my team members have stepped up in such a big way, and they have been delivering food to ERs. I'll actually post in this thread a video. I'll have to have my assistant help me find the link, but they've been going to the senior living communities because all of the seniors in senior housing are totally isolated right now. They're not allowed to come out of their rooms. So they're delivering adult coloring books and all sorts of crossword puzzles and just things to keep people stimulated. And then one of the disturbing trends that we're seeing in our community is that domestic violence is up. So there's more children and women in safe houses right now in our community than before this pandemic. And so we're making gift bags for all of the kids this has got to be a horrible time in their lives as well. So we're just trying to bring brightness where we can. And we actually made a video about it and asked the community for support. So we did a GoFundMe page for serving the doctors and nurses. And we got $4,500, I think, is what we raised to continue feeding the medical professionals that are supporting our community. And that was like, boom, from when we started talking about it. So I'm just feeling like emotional to see how many people are stepping up in such a big way to take care of each other. And that goes for my individual team as well. I'm seeing people who are doing showings for someone else, writing contracts because they're not feeling well, like delivering goods to their families. Just, it's huge.
That's
so
awesome.
Cool. So an idea, is can you give maybe, 1 or 2 or 3 steps to people Carrie, that they can do to like start some kind of, something good charitable for their area, like Facebook page, you have some ideas that you could share.
Sure. So I think the GoFundMe is a good first step. And then when you actually do it, and you'll be able to follow the steps in our video, the real key, if you want to have a big impact, is not you just taking the time, it's enrolling others around you to also take a step to be part of the mission. And so what we did is videoed it as we did it. When we delivered pizzas the first day, we videoed that, and we got the medical staff expressing gratitude and asking for additional support. And we did that intentionally. So I would say that's part of the journey. And then the other piece we said is, listen, we want our local restaurants to be here when this is over. So let's also support them. So then it became about supporting the restaurants who are doing catering and are still there and doing takeout, and supporting the medical personnel. And I think that's what got people really excited. And so then if you have the GoFundMe and you have that on social and you ask people in the community to share it, and then you follow through with a video where you're sharing the fruits of their donations, then they keep donating more.
And then highlight the restaurants, highlight the ones doing the best, highlight people that have donated money if they want to be. That's really brilliant. I know there's people doing it in variations, but I love that. I think that's something that the people watching this show, and again, the impact of this show is to help them get through this. I think that's a dynamite one. And one thing I wanted to say that's really troubling is I have a couple really close friends that are nurses, and they're working 15, 18 hours. They're going at the end of the day to pick up groceries and their scrubs, and they're getting kind of almost, rocked and tarred and feathered by people that because they think that they're like excessively dangerous or something, but they've washed 7,000 times, they've changed clothes, they've done all these things. We have to support our first responders, our nurses, our doctors. And when they're in our community, they're not the problem. And I've heard that more and more lately. I don't know if that's something that's happening everywhere, but I know I've heard it too many times now. So
that's alarming. Meanwhile, I saw someone at the grocery store today, and I'm like, thank you from the bottom.
Exactly. That's my feeling is I'm like, gratitude, if I can hug him, I would. But it seems like, I've heard now a few times. So I hope that's not a trend. But if you see somebody out in the environment, give them love, give them appreciation, and give them gratitude.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. So, today we talked about, or before the call, I said, I think I'd really like to focus on video, because video is such a big instrument for our real estate businesses. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Kyle Whistle and Brent Gove did a great call yesterday, and he talked about the benefits of Facebook video, just real simply doing a Facebook Messenger video. It's limited to 15 seconds, so it's easy to do. I'm going to take you off there so I'm not pinned on you, Carrie. But so basically on Facebook Messenger, all you have to do is hit the camera icon, not the camera at the very top right. That's doing a FaceTime basically with them in Messenger, but just hit the camera icon. And then you can hold the button down, record a video to them personally, 15 seconds max. Super nice. Great for your clients, great for friends. But this is a good time to think about, like Carrie said, the domestic violence is way up. Reaching out to the people that we care about. It could be even within this group and our close friends. Just saying, hey, I got you. Anything going on I could help you with, thinking of you, short 15 seconds. That's just one way. But now can we transition from the power of the panel here? How can we put that into some kind of action plan for people to do if they're going to follow that GoFundMe, enrolling others for support, highlighting local restaurants? What are you doing that's maybe working along with that video category that we can focus on maybe?
I'll throw out one more thing, and then I'll be quiet for the rest of the call.
I don't believe that for a second, but good job.
So one of the things that I'm going to do on the line of domestic violence is up, like people's stress is up. I'm walking down the street with my kids in a stroller, and I hear one woman yelling the F word at another woman because she cut her off. And I'm just like, guys, this isn't about that. Everyone's just stressed and they need more love in their life. And so I'm reaching out to the guy who wrote the 5 Languages of Love. Mm-hmm. And we had to cancel our client event that we were supposed to do, where we take everyone to a Nationals game, and we take like 1,200, 1,300 clients to the Nationals game every year. This year instead, I'm going to invite them all to come together, and whether it's that speaker or another, there'll be a couple steps of what I plan to do. So part of it is the invitation and just feeling like somebody cares and recognizes that this is a stressful time, and it's hard to be loving when you're in a confined environment with your loved ones for weeks on end, right? And you have no escape. So if we just acknowledge that that's where we are, and then we address that to our clients, they're automatically going to feel understood and cared about. And that's what deepens relationships. And then if you take an event like that, think of all of the micro content you can create from something like that to leverage that video to support the community, right? And the moments that will then support others that I may not even know. So I think considering doing events would be a really smart thing to do. And then you can make content from those events to support everybody and really blow that up.
I love that. And last night, Kyle made a great point. Don't lead your videos with your brand and your logo now in this time, right? Lead with the true message. And people are going to know your brand. You're forging your brand during this times by doing the right thing. You don't need to exteriorly promote it. You know, you don't have to make it the biggest thing in it like maybe before. But great stuff. I really appreciate it. Anybody else?
I just have a little sidebar on that.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm doing is I'm making care calls. Of course, we're calling our clients, but I'm also calling other agents and just checking in with them and seeing how they're doing and if they need anything or support. And I'm really getting some great response. You know, people, hey, thanks for calling me. You know, and it's not a recruiting call or any of that. It's just coming forward and just calling people, and we care. And right now, we have just a great time for us all to pull together as a country and, you know, as a world. So that's just one thing that I'm doing also.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to share something real quick. Because Easter is this weekend, of course, and I have a great neighborhood of about 120 homes, and we put together celebrating Easter at home for the little ones, for the kiddos. And what we did, we came up with Easter eggs, big Easter egg prints, and we all colored them, and we've put them on our home through our windows in our home. And we're going to let the little ones walk up and down the street, 6 feet apart, of course. And we're going to let them identify, and we're going to give out little prizes and things like that. But it's all, you know,
Cool.
arm's length and 6 feet away. So it's just a way to get everybody involved and stay in touch for the weekend.
I love that, Kim. I love that.
That's
infectious. That behavior is infectious.
It really is. I'm so proud of our real estate community and what everybody's been doing. I'm just like, my Facebook feed is just full of love and really cool things and nothing negative. It's so like, I just feel like so emotional all week. But what I did this week, and you guys know, I think I told you, I try to do 50 Facebook messages a day. I was up to 100, but it just exhausted me. So I'm just, you know, just doing the little scratches and getting to 50 a day. But over the last couple of weeks, what I realized is some of the leaders in our industry, people of high caliber in not only our industry, but other industries too, I noticed that we are so consumed with helping others in our sphere and our agents and being leaders that sometimes we need to fall apart a little bit, right? So I've been calling all the leaders in my life, and I'm telling them, look, we're all leaders. We're all like, we have to be, you know, out in front, and we have to be the rock. We have to be strong and the shoulders to cry on and the people saying the prayers. And I said, and I just do it. I said, I'm just reaching out to you. If you need a shoulder, you need a prayer, or if you absolutely want to say the F-bomb and cry on the phone with me, I'm here for you. And every single person is now videoing me back. It used to be typing me back or the stupid little thumb, but now they're actually videoing me back saying, that's so cool. How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing this, but this is going on. And so we're having conversations and trying to help each other, but everybody's good, but this, right? Whatever that is, we're talking about and making each other feel a lot better. And all week I've been talking to people that like, I haven't talked to in so long, or maybe I've only talked to once or twice in my life, you know, big celebrities and things like that I'm connected to, but not that connected to, right? So I'm just reaching out to them and saying, I appreciate you. You're awesome. I can see what you're doing. It's making a difference. And it's starting very, very valuable conversations, not only for future business, but for just human, you know, conversation. Like, it's kind of neat to watch people break down a little bit and just be comfortable and more vulnerable. And it's kind of fun. Like I'm really enjoying all this time. Like right now I have a text right here that just came through from a big leader that I've been texting back and forth with all day. And I would never talk to this person unless I saw them on a stage somewhere or paid to go to one of their events. And we're just talking back and forth, like just, just being calm and decompressing. And it's really neat. So
I love that.
I think the next couple of weeks is wide open for just deep relationship building. And that's all I'm going to care about.
Totally. I cried yesterday twice. I interviewed Bill Pipes and we had an emotional moment that, I didn't break down and just bawl like a baby, but I was weeping and that happened twice yesterday. Another agent reached out and just was like giving me love for doing, actually, it was this particular event, this vision call, and another call that we're doing that's free to try and help agents. And she's just so grateful. She was overwhelmed. And that is like why I'm doing this, right? That is what it's all about. And I know that's what it is for you guys on this call. So I just really appreciate your contribution. I've said it before, I will say it 1,000 times again. Thank you for your contribution and helping others lead from the front. So around the horn, a couple minutes left. I want to, again, hard stop on time and value everybody's time, but maybe just a closing, word of inspiration, whatever it is for you as we wrap up the call.
Okay.
Tom, always leading the front, baby.
All right. Well, we want, of course, hope and peace. So, and the only way we can really get that is by clarity. Clarity gives us power. Power gives us focus. Focus gives us implementation, and implementation gives us peace. So there you go.
I love it. Next. Carrie promised not to say anything, so she's being quiet right now. Okay, I'm gonna pick Kim. Final words.
I'm just impressed with all of the creativity that everyone is coming up with. And one thing real quick, as far as closings go, we're seeing a lot of those. And attorneys are doing picnics outside and, 6 feet apart. They're doing drive-through closings, which are legal here in Florida. So just being very creative to keep the people there and bringing them together, making them feel comfortable, and just keeping them calm, because as Mike said, it's very important that we do that. And, we're all in it together, and we're just really, I think, going deep into our strengths and our character and pulling some really fun and creative things out that's making it work. And we're all human, that's for sure.
Totally. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. Elizabeth.
Yeah, so I think right now it's just about connectivity, connecting with people, making sure that you're really not too isolated and too alone. And I'm just finding that everybody wants to talk on the phone or wants to text. I mean, everyone is feeling that same sense. So I think that's a key thing that we should be thinking about now.
I love that. Thank you. Mike.
My final thing is to, I said I care about a lot about relationships, and I really do. But for the agents watching out there, I will also say I've listed or sold a home every single day this week personally, and so is my team. So I'm not saying stop working, but make that not as important as the relationship building. And if anybody needs help with the PPP or idle loans, this is a really good time to take it really seriously. And I'm surprised at how many agents aren't taking advantage of it or don't know about it. So if anybody needs help, reach out to me. I can fill you in. I can give you people to call. I can give you links to fill out apps. We got all of our, at least 3 of our PPPs approved this week. We haven't got them funded yet, but we know lots of people that have, and we're in really tight network groups that are talking and but finding the relationships of small banks and people that can help. So agents, don't be embarrassed. Reach out and get your help, because you're going to need it.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. And Carrie, wrap us up, please.
Okay. I would just say, this may sound deep, but during this time, try and get to know yourself even better, because the more you can come from a place of authenticity, the more meaningful you're going to be to the world. And there's not often that we get this kind of isolation to really think. And so just don't miss that opportunity.
I love that. And self-care is incredibly important right now. As big manly men, it's hard to talk about sometimes, but self-care is critical. And I love what Tom said. Contrast brings clarity. That's my version of it. But to me, contrast brings clarity. In these times of struggle, let it redefine who you are and let it show the shining person that you're capable of. Thank you all. I'll see you next week, but have an amazing weekend. And happy Easter to everybody.
Happy Easter.
And again,
Happy
I'm
Easter,
blessed-
everybody.
blessed to be in your presence.
Thanks,
Easter,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks.
Take care for now. Bye-bye.